What's up guys, Shadow here. Today I'm bringing you a deck profile on my tournament winning Yosenju deck. This deck is amazing for anybody who is looking for a budget deck that can still hold up in the meta right now and do really well. This is the deck for you. It's just amazing. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for any Yosenju build, you always run 3-1. He is your continuous compulse of the deck. He bounces your opponent's monsters back to their hand. Then you run 3-2. He can attack directly. 3-3 is your searcher. When another Yosenju monster does damage to your opponent, he lets you search out any Yosenju card from your deck. And then you top it off with 2 Sujik. This is your honest of the deck. You can either use him while he's on the field and target a Yosenju, including himself, and bump his attack by 1,000, or you can drop him. And yes, you can stack. You can target and then drop for 2,000 attack gain and stuff like that. So he's really good to have. Wouldn't run more than 2 though, otherwise he gets a little cloggy. So that is the monster lineup for the basic monster lineup. Then for the spells, you start off with 3 Pot of Duality. Pot of Duality in this deck is absolutely amazing. You do not special summon at all in this deck. For those of you who don't know what Yosenjus do, they normal summon, and then they have the effect to immediately normal summon another Yosenju with a different name. So you can go 1, 2, 3, Sujik. Sujik is the only one that doesn't have the effect to continue the chain. But that is basically what Yosenjus do. And Pot of Duality in this deck is amazing. It allows you to excavate, add to your hand, and the special summon effect doesn't apply to you. So, I mean, it doesn't even matter because you normal summon, you don't special summon. You can still spam the field even though you use Pot of Duality, and it's great. So moving on, you run 3 Tenki. They're all Beast Warriors, so this is just a search. Then you run 3 MST. Back row hate, that is the only weakness to Yosenjus is Mirror Force and cards like that. Then you run 2 Dark Hole because for those of you who don't know Yosenjus again, they have a second effect for at the end phase when they were summoned, they all return back to your hand, so it leaves the field, your side of the field, clear of monsters. So Dark Hole just acts as basically a Regeki in this deck, because you're not going to have any monsters on your side of the field at the start of your turn, so if you draw into a Dark Hole, just use it and then normal summon, you know. So just really good in this deck. And then speaking of Regeki, you run the 1 Regeki in here, of course. The 1 Book of Moon and the 1 Dimensional Fissure, because Dimensional Fissure messes up so many problematic decks out there. It's just really good. So that does it for the spells. Moving on to traps, we run the 3 Mirror Force. As you can expect, this is going to be pretty decently trap heavy deck because you don't have anything on the field in your opponent's turn, so you need some protection. 2 Fiendish Chain for me. You can run 3, and I would recommend you to run 3. I just don't have the room because I like to run Defissure along with Macrocosmos, main them both. That's just my personal preference. So if you want to add the 3rd Fiendish Chain, which I would recommend if you don't like the Dimensional Fissure Macrocosmos main, you can take one of them out and add the other Fiendish Chain. It's perfectly fine and understandable. So 2 Fiendish Chain for me. And then I run the 2 Breakthrough Skill. It's just an all-around great card, and with all the annoying effects going around in the meta right now, you want to have as much effect negation as you can get. Then you run the 2 Secret Move, only 2, because really the only time you can use it in a build like this is on your turn to stop counter traps or monster effects that can be activated on your on the opponent's turn and stuff like that. So you don't really need to. It's basically there just to protect you from running into traps. Then the one-ofs, you run one Torrential Tribute because, again, it's like the Dark Hole. It doesn't really affect you at all. Then you run the one Solemn Warning for more negation. You run the one Macrocosmos. Then you run one Compulse, one Vanities because it doesn't affect you and it's amazing in this deck. If Vanities ever went to 3 again, this deck would just kill. And then you run the one Bottomless. So that does it for the main deck. Let's go ahead and move on to the extra deck. Okay, so starting off, it's all rank 4s because they're all level 4s. You don't really go into your extra deck a whole lot unless you get into situations where you need to use your extra deck or you just want to go into overkill or something like that. So you run the one Dark Rebellion and the one Castel, the 2 promos for the Dark Rebellion 10. You run one Lightning Chidori that I'm going to bump to 2. And I believe I only have 14 cards in... No, I don't. I think I have 15. But one of them, when we get to it, I'll show you which one it is actually supposed to be a Lightning Chidori. I don't have my second one yet. So, one, but actually 2 Lightning Chidoris. You run the 101 Silent Honorarch, self-explanatory for rank 4s. In this, you're going to want to do 2 Cowboy because you can go into a really, really cool OTK play if you open with the right hand and spam the board. Attack, 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 go into Cowboy and detach for game. So, really good OTK play. You run the one Tiger King because they're Beast Warriors. This helps me get over a lot of stuff, especially Yang Zings. When they lock down the field, you bring out Tiger King Negate because Tiger King doesn't target, and they just run over him. The one Heartland Draco because I run continuous in this continuous spells in this deck, and it can't be touched when you have a continuous spell like Tenki on the board, and it can attack directly twice. So really good in this deck. The one Gaga Samurai just because. Diamond Dyer because they're Beast Warriors. Abyss Dweller to negate graveyard effects, such as, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe Cyframes use a lot of graveyard effects, and they're going to be a big problem in the upcoming meta. So, Abyss Dweller, even though Burning Abyss and Shadalls and stuff like that got hit hard and you're not going to see much of them, you're still going to want to run Abyss Dweller for upcoming decks. I run Maestro just because it's a general rank 4. One Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon because they're wind, and this is amazing to go into. And this is the card that is supposed to be Chidori. It is my replacement, and it's Utopia. Just a basic rank 4 that I'm going to get rid of, and it will be my second Chidori. So that pretty much wraps it up for the Yosenju deck for the main and extra. Yeah, I had a side for this deck, but with the ban list coming out and stuff, I took it apart, and I'm going to have to redo it. I don't even know, it'll be a little while before I rebuild a side for this deck. It's going to take me a little while to see how the meta is going to do and stuff. So, yeah, that does it for my Yosenju build. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and like and subscribe, and until next time, Shadow Law, signing out.